This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Jimmy G Buckets gets buckets? Incredible. Sup nerds, it's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. My name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host, me wearing this new Knicks 2026 championship shirt that finally came in while I dropped my daughter off at daycare today, and someone asking me, oh, is it Knicks Day? Because my daughter is also wearing a Jalen Brunson jersey. Did I miss the memo? To me replying, every day is Knicks Day. We're the 2026 champions. It's Adam Mamawala. Adam, how's it going?
It's going well. I was in Montreal this past weekend and saw multiple people wearing Knicks stuff as Mike takes a sip from his Knicks Yeti. So, I mean,
which I've been drinking so much from the logo is beginning to fade.
But you know what won't fade? The double champions.
Banners don't fade. Banners are forever, or at least the memories are forever. And it's more fun seeing Knicks people in the wild because you see someone in New York, like a lot of people wearing Knicks stuff. I will usually give like a, hey, let's go Knicks in 5. And sometimes people respond and other times they don't because it's just so normal to wear Knicks stuff. But when I was on vacation in New Jersey, I was wearing my Knicks in 5 shirt that our buddy Chris got me, and someone was like, Knicks in 5, and I was like, Knicks in 5, let's go. So it's fun to encounter people in the wild. We have some travel planned next month, and I'll be on the prowl. I'm going to wear as much Knicks stuff as I can.
I have no doubt that you will find people wearing Knicks stuff. It's something that I'm sure we've discussed before, but early baseball reference here. Like when I'm in Chicago, I have to actively stop myself from talking to people in Cubs hats because I'm like, oh, that's a normal thing here. Yeah. But because I live in New York and I'm traveling all over, like it is a conversation starter always, or at least I will start a conversation with you if you are wearing a Cubs hat. But in Chicago, I'm like, oh wait, that's just a person. That's one of millions of people who exactly.
Right. And that's what makes Yankee stuff hard. If the Yankees are ever to win a World Series again, that'll be tricky because the Yankees hat is just kind of like a fashion hat. We've talked about this on the pod, but this was like when Aaron Judge re-signed. I was on vacation in Australia, and Kelly, to every person wearing a Yankee hat we passed, was like, you should talk to them about Aaron Judge being back. It's like they don't know who that man is.
I had that exact experience this weekend. There was a kid in the front row at one of my shows in Montreal wearing a Yankees hat, and I was like, oh, are you from New York? He's like, no. And I was like, oh, so just a fraud. And then people thought I was being mean.
That's great. I love it. But let's get into some basketball discussions. We have a lot of things to discuss. Some fun, some ugh, and then I have a very exciting that actually happened. I'm excited for 3-on-3. It's our first normal standard issue format episode, you said, since March or something?
March,
yeah. So it's August. It's been a bit. So let's prepare to return to format in the Teal Memorial locker room, which is just always there for us, whether it's a standard format episode or an interview or a drama draft or whatever it is.
Great place to get ready, get hydrated, take a little rest if we need to. It's got everything.
They've got coconut water if you want to get hydrated. I've become a big coconut water as my rehydration thing. I'm old enough and stuff where it's like, do I need all the sugar in Gatorade? How about I just drink coconut water? And let me tell you, it's been great. I enjoy it. Highly recommend to everybody. And I didn't like the taste at first, but you know what's good? Just put it in the refrigerator, make it really cold, and then you won't notice it. And
that makes sense.
Get used to the taste.
Because everyone likes a coconut popsicle. So if you just make it really cold. We need a new sponsor. Vita Coco, hit us up.
A Kirkland brand, please hit me up. Would love it. Would
just in general, not even just separately of the coconut.
Dude, if I got sponsored by Costco, can you imagine?
I mean, I did grow up in a Sam's Club family, but I'm perfectly happy to distance myself from the Walmart family.
I believe the one closest to where I grew up in Central Jersey was a Sam's Club, and I was driving around Central Jersey on our trip, and there was a Costco that I never remembered being there, and I was thinking, did the Sam's Club get bought out?
Quaker Bridge Mall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that used to be? And it's now a Costco. Yeah. Wow, what a glow up. I'm so happy for them. Shout out to all the years we would get like Propel. Remember Propel? Gatorade flavored water? Yeah, man. We used to get little twisty tops.
I didn't like it, and I feel like that's now been replaced by those things that people like bring a little pouch and put it in their water.
Liquid IV, which I wouldn't hate getting sponsored by them as well.
No.
But even that, I was like, I've like gone on this old man progression of like, I don't need Gatorade. Let's go with Liquid IV. There's no colors. And then now I'm like, do I really need all the sugar that's in Liquid IV? What if I just drink coconut water?
We're getting old.
Oh,
All right.
old people stuff. So you know who is getting old but is aging so gracefully.
Our patrons of all sorts of ages.
All ages, all levels. Shout out to our producer level patrons, especially Polly Burridge, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Aylesbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls. Bang, bang.
Wait. I have to stop you there.
Oh.
Make sure to read the most recent one I sent you because it is different.
Oh, different. My apologies. Polly Burridge, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Aylesbury. Adam's dad coaches my wife. Yes,
we will explain that in a second, but proceed.
Bang, bang. Roast beef debris, Denver steam nuggets, Andrew Reed, Steph Curry getting hyped for the Valkyries.
Yeah, did you see that?
I did not. Good for him.
There was like a buzzer-beating half-court shot, which, I mean, if anyone's going to appreciate a long-distance three, it's going to be Steph Curry. But Steph was there with Gary Payton. Is it Gary Payton the second? The third?
The second.
And they were getting real hyped. And
Good
it was
for
fun.
them.
And I'll share the clip.
Yeah. Very fun. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Walls, Mott's Forley, Utah Jash, Derry Bird, alternate reality NBA wife, and Bucking Valkyries. The aforementioned Valkyries.
Yeah, let me real quick explain what happened with our longtime patron, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls. So we got this message on Patreon that said, "Hey guys, hope you all are doing well. Wanted to write in with a funny story and to request a change to my producer name. My wife and I have both been longtime horse listeners. Recently, her company contracted with another company to provide leadership coaching. She gets an email with the name of her assigned leadership coach, and it's Maqsood Mamawala. She was like, there's no way. And it turns out, way. During their first call, they talk about their personal lives while getting to know each other, and he mentions he's married to his wife, Deborah. My wife has no choice but to ask if he has a son named Adam, which obviously came as a surprise to him. From there, they spent the rest of the call talking about podcasts and seeing Adam perform live. So in honor of this funny, small world cosmic alignment, I'd like to change my producer name to Adam's dad coaches my wife. Done and done. Incredible stuff. There's so much that I love about this. Not only just the small world of it all that this would happen, but also I don't know who their wife is employed by, but I'm sure they wouldn't love it if they're like, so the leadership coaching session was spent talking about the coach's comedian son and the basketball. But like, it seems like maybe they got a little off course, but hopefully my dad redirected. But pretty amazing stuff.
Incredible stuff. Love it. Shout out to the name change, which is good because Taco Falls has been out of the league for long enough now that and it's even just Taco Fall singular, right? I'm so used to saying Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls that I think, is it Taco Fall or Taco Falls?
No, I mean, the patron name
Taco
is
Fall.
Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls.
Correct, but I'm saying, the point I was trying to make
correct.
is
The real Taco Fall, yes,
has
correct.
been out of the league for so
Yes.
long that this name was probably due for an upgrade. I don't know that anyone's
Yes.
chasing Taco Fall anymore, unless
think
you're
so.
an overseas team, perhaps.
Correct.
But yeah, but that's very fun. So fun. And I'm delighted for their support.
Yes,
Speaking
and thank
of-
you to Cindy. Shout out to Cindy, who I was told in a follow-up message, Cindy wanted me to tell you that your dad spent a lot of time gushing about you and is clearly a very proud dad. So it's very sweet.
Love that. Shout out to Cindy. Shout out to Maqsood. And now, if you're listening on Patreon, the episode will just continue. But if you're not, we're going to take a little pause here for some dynamically inserted ads. But Patreon, you get ad-free episodes. So we will keep it rolling along there if that's where you're listening.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Adam, what do you got going on?
I don't think I have anything new since the last time, so I will keep it brief.
Cool.
The Atlanta tickets are officially on sale, so that is
Yay.
going to be October 15th. You can get those through my website or whatever is easiest. If you type in Adam Mamawala Atlanta, it'll come up. And then on November 7th, I will be in Easton, PA. On December 4th, Philly, PA. And then December 11th, Bozeman, Montana. Nothing else has been solidified yet. There's a potential I might do a Nashville date around Atlanta, so that would be in October. And then figuring out the other West Coast stuff that I might do in December, but nothing on the books yet. And this is kind of fun. As we discussed on the pod, I recorded a special for OnlyFans, and that's like a super quick turnaround. So that's going to be coming out on September 7th, I believe is the date. So I think they'll be like sharing clips of it on Instagram, and then if you go to my like OnlyFans page, you can watch comedy.
I can't wait to have
I know, it's ridiculous.
That show up on my credit card statement and be like, Kelly, let me explain, please.
Well, the good news is I think it's free. Yes, I do think it's free.
Okay, cool.
But
I don't have to give you $5 or whatever.
No, I mean you can if you want, but I can just send you.
I'd rather just give it to you in cash
for free. Yeah, you can see my feet whenever you want to. They've been in your house.
Oh man. Well, for me, the New York show just happened, so shout out to the folks who came through. It was
fun?
very fun. It was really, really fun. Our mutual friend Gabe, who does managing work at the venue where it was awesome, and had a real fun time with him kind of running the show. And then the show itself was fun. The podcast portion went well. The improv portion went well. I'm going to put a YouTube version of the improv portion up at some point. I don't know. It'll basically whenever the podcast episode goes live, which is going to be the Monday after this, so the 24th. So if you're listening to this after the 24th, which you probably should be, check it out on the TNO YouTube channel. But then I've got two more shows, Boston and Philly, on the 20th and the 27th of September, respectively. I'm happy to report that I will be wearing Knicks clothes to both of those.
You've decided. Okay.
Yeah, my OG Anunoby finals patch jersey finally came through. So I've got that, which I probably will wear in Boston. And then I've got my Knicks in 5 Villanova shirt, which I'll wear in Philly to at least be nice to the Philly folk, because at least I'll throw a nod to a Pennsylvania college.
Okay.
But it still brags. So it's respectful. The Boston one is pure disrespect, though, because it's Boston.
I have no problem with that whatsoever. In fact, I actively support it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, with all of that, do we have an NBQ&A, or are we getting into full court press?
We do have an NBQ&A. I promised Kelsey, aka alternate reality NBA wife, that I would answer this one, and I meant to do research and then I didn't. So we're just going to answer it on the fly. Kelsey asks, "Hey guys, I wanted to write in because I was re-listening to old episodes and was really intrigued on why the Supersonics got moved to Oklahoma and turned into the Thunder. But there's more. And as someone from the Kansas City area, I was wondering how the transition from Omaha/Kansas City to just Kansas City and then over to Sacramento happened. I know it's probably something to do with money and the Kings just sucking, but I thought I would ask you guys to see if you had more insight. And how would you guys feel if Kansas City regained an NBA team?" All right, so multiple questions there. The first part of the question in terms of the Sonics getting moved to Oklahoma, it really, I think, just came down to ownership and then a stadium deal not being agreed upon in Seattle.
Yeah.
I think that's really it, right?
I did extensive research for this once because before like PowerPoint parties were a thing, I'm so jealous that they're a thing now. It was of the time where drunk history was popular. So I had a drunk history party with Kelly and two of my other friends, and it was as like a kind of going away thing before I moved to Seattle. So we all did Seattle-based things. Kelly did a bunch of research on the Twilight franchise, and then I did a whole thing about the Sonics relocation. Basically, the owner of the Sonics was the Starbucks CEO, Howard Schultz, and he wanted to get a new arena. They needed a new arena badly, but he wanted to do the whole like public funds only thing. He didn't want to pay for it. Seattle, as they should, and as they did, didn't give in, and they weren't going to do a plan that just like forked over a bunch of taxpayer money. So when Schultz wasn't going to be able to do that, he had no more interest in owning the team and just kind of sold the team to these buyers from Oklahoma City who were interested because they had hosted and gave a home to the New Orleans Hornets at the time when Katrina happened. So they had the OKC Hornets for like a year and got a taste of it and were like, we want to own a team. So that
and had like proof of concept of like basketball will work here. We've seen how interested people are. And to be fair, while it sucks for Seattle, Oklahoma City has been a great city for basketball.
Correct. So they had an ownership group led by Clay Bennett and a couple of other like Chesapeake Energy guys who are all Oklahoma based. they bought the team, and everyone was like, are you guys just buying this team to relocate it to Oklahoma? And they were like, no. And Howard Schultz was like, they told me they wouldn't. And then like a little bit later, then they were like, oh, we tried to go with the government, but they wouldn't do anything. They like submitted these impossible things where like
enough
of course
to make it
turned
seem
down.
like the optics of them having tried, but it was really not a good
like they
faith
wanted to put the
attempt.
stadium in a place where it never would have made sense or really far away. Like all these
Like, look,
stupid
we
proposals.
submitted a reasonable proposal to have the stadium balancing on top of the Space Needle, and they said no. Like, what do you want us to do? We have to move to Oklahoma City.
They were going to play in the rotating restaurant. So then they moved it to OKC, and it was purely just a money thing. And the whole running conspiracy theory was that David Stern allowed this to happen, the commissioner at the time, to kind of make owners in a better light and kind of like scare cities into being like, look, if you don't fork over public funds, this is going to happen. So it was always like Seattle was this example of like they should have a team. So then when Sacramento had issues and other teams were up for sale, it was like, you don't want to be like Seattle, do you? And that's just been this horrible thing. So that was all of that. I'm not as clued in with the Royals to Sacramento move and everything. I know that they moved a couple of times.
Or the Kings, you mean? You said
sorry.
Royals, but it all was kind of the same theme, right?
Didn't they used to be the Royals? Weren't they the...
Oh, so was the basketball team the Royals? And then once they left, then they were like, we should have a team called the Royals. So let's let me do this quick Googling on the fly. All right, Sacramento Kings. So...
Or was it a different team, the Royals? And I'm getting it
Oh my
confused.
gosh, their history. They started in Rochester, I believe Rochester, New York. Then
Right.
moved to Cincinnati. Right. Then, so then once they moved to Kansas City, they were called the Kansas City Omaha Kings.
Okay.
From 1972 to 75, then the Kansas City Kings from 75 to 85, and then Sacramento starting in 85. And that's interesting to me. Like, I don't think I had any idea that Kansas City had an NBA team from 75 to 85. They were in the NBA?
Maybe they were an ABA team and then merged.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, we're doing this on the fly. We're doing
it live.
No, they were NBA.
Okay.
That's so interesting to me because, I mean, obviously I wasn't alive at that time, but the idea of like, Bird and Magic, like going off to Kansas City to play. And I just didn't know that was the case. So let's see. All right. The Kings moved to their current home of Sacramento for the 85-86 season. And let's see. I think it was just arena. Yeah, it was arena based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seems to always be that.
Right.
To answer the final question, though, I would imagine Kansas City would be a viable place for an NBA team. The question is, who do they...
a team.
Sure. Yeah, that is weird that there's not a St. Louis or Kansas City team because...
I would say move the New Orleans Pelicans to Missouri because I think New Orleans has kind of proven at this point, just from attendance and how much the owners care and stuff, like doesn't seem as viable. So,
yeah, it's in the same way. New Orleans is a really interesting place. It's also one of my favorite cities in the country.
Love New Orleans.
New Orleans is like great for music, shitty for comedy. It's great for football, not great for basketball. Like New Orleans interests are very specific in terms of what they're into. Not good for podcasting either.
I had a very low turnout show, but New Orleans is also like a way smaller city than you think by population. Like, I think it's only like 425,000, which is wild. Like, I always thought it was way more.
Way small, yeah.
362,000.
Wow. Yeah.
So, like, let's compare it to Kansas City, right? Kansas City, Missouri has 523,000 people.
What I would want to know, though, is like, for people who live in the Kansas City area, who do they root for? Like, do they root for the Thunder? Do they root for just whoever they, grew up watching?
So I talked to my buddy Johnny. My buddy Johnny's from St. Louis, and he was basically just like, I've just always been basketball agnostic, and I just kind of like watched teams and players and stuff. And then now that he's been in New York for a couple of years, he got very into the Knicks and like fully supported their run and has some Knicks championship stuff now.
And presumably, I don't know about Kansas City, but since St. Louis has a professional hockey team, you would think they already have a stadium that would be viable for
hockey and basketball. Very, very good. So yeah, I think one of those two cities ought to have a team, and I think it would work. And I think people would probably even make the trek between the two. Get on the I went on their what's the
Oh, it's like a regional train line or something?
The Missouri Amtrak has like a fun line. The Missouri River Runner.
Oh,
Get on the Missouri River Runner.
I mean, if that's not the name of a minor league baseball team, by the way.
The Missouri River Runners, yeah, that'd be
good.
really good. That could even be the NBA team. Why not? Like, embrace like Golden State and just be like, we're the Missouri team and have it there. That'd be very fun. Even if they like split the games between half Kansas City, half
that's
St.
a fun
Louis.
idea.
It'd be really fun.
All right.
Give me the Missouri River Runners. I would love it. I never actually rode on the train I was supposed to, and then it was down for repair, so I had to take a bus. So I river jogged instead of river ran.
A river jaunt.
But I got there in less time because they had a fully express bus. Ooh. And the River Runner is supposed to make more stops. They're like, we've replaced it with an express bus and a local bus. And I was like, oh, I'm just going straight to Casey Mo. Can we get me on the bus? And then it worked out. So
they could also be known as the express buses. Not as good as the River Runners.
Not as good.
Know, yeah.
But the Kansas City Express or the St. Louis Express, that could be fun.
That is good. Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right. That's MBQ&A. Now we get full court press. Get it like the news?
I do. Let's talk about the news. And some of it's fun and some of it's not so fun.
It's like 3 not fun. At least 2 are interesting. One's like bad. So you got WNBA, Sophie Cunningham is being bad and transphobic. And then you have awful men trying to get into the league as well. Then we've got the Lakers family sale, which is just like drama. And then you've got the Clippers. The Kawhi stuff is looking even worse. And now there's questions of, are they actually going to be punished or not? And there's conflicting reporting. Mm-hmm. Let's get the WNBA stuff out of the way. Basically, Sophie Cunningham is being transphobic and has made some anti-trans statements that she's not backing down from. And then the fans in Indiana are split, but I think more against her than for her. There have been pro-trans and anti-trans rallies like outside the stadium, but when the games are being played, she's getting like actively booed, which is cool.
I mean, she already had the nickname MAGA Barbie, so she's certainly leaning into it. And now it's like, taking photos with people who are part of like deeply evil organizations. But as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, so Enes Kanter, Freedom, or whatever his name is currently, but Enes Kanter and Royce White, who famously is afraid of flying and didn't want to ever travel to NBA games, and also was bad.
You don't even have to make fun of him for flying, because if you're like, look, it's real anxiety, whatever. The Rockets drafted him, and they were going to carve out a thing of like, we will do it so that you can bus to every single game and take trains. Like they had a whole thing, and he still declined. So it's like, oh, okay, you are afraid, but you also don't want to put in the work. So,
but they've come out and essentially been like, well, since the WNBA doesn't want to make any official declarations of like who is and isn't a woman, like I've decided that I identify as a woman and I'm going to enter the WNBA draft. So what are your thoughts on this? What actual like wording is there, if any, within the WNBA kind of rules about who is and isn't eligible? And I think part of this came up because I believe, is there not like a French transgender player who's considering entering the WNBA draft? I think that's kind of like what the genesis of all this was.
I didn't know about that, but I do know that this whole thing is like Cunningham and these 2 dudes are basically getting swept up by right-wing grifters to try and force the WNBA to, in their eyes, hopefully put in some sort of clause that like has to say something about biological women or something like that, because the WNBA did kind of have to have an emergency meeting of like, hey, what do we do about this? And for me, I don't think they actually have said anything, and they haven't like made a statement, and I don't think they're giving these right-wing folks like exactly what they want. So I don't know. I hope that they don't have to put in something that has like a biological thing, because then I think it's going to get messy. I think you just got to hope that everyone running a team just kind of doesn't do a bad job. Like, they're going to enter the draft. No one should draft them. Like I think the easiest thing to do is just kind of like do nothing, and then just don't let bad faith actors get drafted by the team, and then you don't have to worry about it, and it'll blow over. So I think that's the simplest thing, but I didn't know about the French transgender player.
Yeah, I just sent you a link.
Okay.
Julie Tétart. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
You know French better than I do.
Yeah, very minimally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to have to see. What stinks is that all of this stuff just makes the WNBA all about the discourse. And it's all these people trying to politicize it as much as they can and using it as another example of the women's sports angle, where all these people who have said awful things about women all their lives suddenly are heavily invested in women's sports.
Right.
And it's all for show. It's all for clout. It's all for taking focus onto these social issues so you get distracted by the class warfare that we should all be paying attention to. And it's silly, especially because the WNBA is really fun right now, and there are some really cool players and lots of just fun basketball to watch. There's I just heard that Olivia Miles's new nickname that they're trying to make a thing is the Spectacle, because she wears those big chunky glasses and
Horace Grant style.
Balls out.
Yeah.
The Spectacle is so good. That's the best nickname I've heard of in a very long time.
It's quite good.
So I hope that becomes official. But yeah, like it really sucks. And
right. And I think so Sophie Cunningham, like, aligning herself with, as you correctly described them, right-wing grifters, is gross. And like, there's really nothing more to say about it than like, it's just cruel and shitty. And I've already not liked Sophie Cunningham. I do love the pointing meme, but like, she's a hard person to root for in terms of her opinions about almost everything. As far as Enes Kanter and Royce White, it's just bullshit, because like it's not earnest. You know what I mean?
No.
Like there's no part, like, if, let's just say that Enes Kanter or Royce White actually truly did say, you know what, I identify as a woman, I've been grappling with this for a long time, and I intend to
then
yes,
sure.
okay, then at least it's like a good faith thing. And you might disagree with me, but like, my opinion is that obviously transphobia in any form is not okay. But the issue of like born as male athletes who have transitioned to women or are transitioning to women playing in female sports, like, to me, that is a nuanced issue that does deserve a conversation. It's not just as easy as saying like, well, if you identify as a woman, like, you get to play, because I do think that you have to leave room for nuance. But the way that they're trying to exploit it and make a show of like, well, I guess if you're not making a rule about it, like, I'll just wake up tomorrow and say I feel like a woman now. Like, that's completely diminishing the actual experience of somebody who, from the time they were born, is like, I don't feel at home in my own body, and this is an incredibly challenging thing for me. So I just it's just so like hollow and shitty and mean spirited that it's hard to look at it any other way.
Right. I think if we're having a genuine good faith case, then yes, we can have a good faith discussion, but it's in bad faith. So I don't think it warrants it. And that's kind of what I hope the W should be able to do. For this French player, let's talk about it. For these guys, no. And I think Robin Lopez, Knicks legend Robin Lopez, made a really good point. He quote tweeted a post about it from RG3, the football player, Sad Football Reference, who was like trying to, all he does is like engagement bait on Twitter. So he made some posts of like, what do you all think? And Robin Lopez quote tweeted it and said, biggest issue, if you're being drafted, people are saying, we want you around for 4 years. And I can't imagine anybody wants Enes Kanter or Royce White around them for even 4 minutes. We've seen this illustrated whenever Enes is near Turkey or Royce comes close to logic/reality.
Or a plane.
Shout out to Robin Lopez. Man,
that.
to get dunked on by a Disney adult. Oofa doofa. So,
oh my gosh, Robin Lopez is a Disney adult.
Him and Brooke Lopez are obsessed with Disney. And at least like for, in a fun, like, yeah, we have millions of dollars. Sure, let's be Disney adults. Like,
you need millions of dollars.
We're the biggest kids. Yeah, we're the biggest kids physically and, just in terms of like big kid energy. So shout out. But yeah, it's clear that it's a grift. So just like, no. So I don't know. And I'm not like, I'm the most pro-trans like that you can be. Obviously, I've got the whole Harry Potter background that I've had to come to grips with and everything. And the sports thing is hard when you try to get into like the safety and all of that.
But, like safety and fairness. It's not like, I think it's a separate discussion from saying like, we don't think you should use our bathrooms or you're like not included in society.
Mm-hmm. And like I'd have to like really think if there was like a genuine case for the WNBA, but like I very much lean towards like just let them play, figure it out. I don't, it's not a fighting sport or anything. I think the other thing that a lot of people bring up is like sports aren't fair all the time. Like Victor Wembanyama is not fair. Like it's not like the NBA. It's like, well, he's so tall. Like now it's not fair anymore. It's like, you know, the NBA can only be people who are like between 6'4" and 6'6". Like there are discrepancies in sports sometimes that are like biologically based. So
I think the root problem of all of this is that it has been made to be about sports when it's really not about sports. It's really about telling people you're not welcome in society and we would rather you didn't exist. Like that's because the truth is, and maybe this is the case for some people, if you're someone who you're like, I'm not transphobic, this truly to me is about like what is fair and what is not fair. And it is true biologically that like the best man at something is always going to be better athletically than the best woman. And let me explain what I mean by that. Like the fastest man running the 100-meter dash at the Olympics, Usain Bolt or whoever it is, unless anything changes, always going to have a faster time than whoever the fastest woman is in that sport. So if you're saying this is really about competitiveness, then you sure as hell better not have a problem with anyone who's born female who transitions to male who wants to participate in male sports. So if that's
and
true,
like there are situations where it flips. Like women's gymnastic vaults are always going to be way better than men's vaults.
Sure.
They are smaller. They can flip way more times.
Yes.
So like, yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's so I don't want to paint with a broad brush in that way, but I'm saying when you think about like Asia Wilson is unbelievable, but she's not better than the best NBA player who ever lived, right?
And like Serena Williams
part of that
has
is just
talked
like
about
a
this with
physiological
men's
thing.
tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like there was things where like Serena played like the 180th ranked dude, and she was like, yeah, he's a guy. Like so
he serves 140 miles an hour.
Right. I think what makes all of it hard is exactly what you're getting at. Is like I don't know of anyone that's like actually doing this where the talk is just about sports. It's always about something else.
Exactly.
So it's just hard to have the discussion because like at the end of the day, life is bigger than sports, including people, and people having values is way more important. That's like why I lean towards like, let's just make people feel welcome. That's what's the most important, especially when we're talking about like younger sports, college sports, high school sports, like non-professional. Like this is a little different because it's like these are people's jobs and livelihood. So it makes that complicated. But just like, I don't know, when it's younger stuff, it's like, dude, just let them play and let's figure it out. Here, like there hasn't been a case that's purely just about the sport.
Right.
And it sucks that that's what it's at. But like
I
these
trust
cases are
that the
so
WNBA,
cut and dry grifting.
I trust that they will figure it out. I want to think that they will. Obviously, Kathy Engelbert's leadership has not always been great, so hopefully she's able to handle this competently. But I think even if your feelings about it are, you know, like I don't really know how I feel, or I don't know how, like it's anyone should be able to see how shitty this is.
Yeah. Right. And I really appreciate some players in the league like Gabby Williams. Maybe this is because she's French and is knowledgeable of this person who is considering entering the draft. Basically, she was just like, I would welcome a trans player on my team or on my opponent's team, whatever. And like, I think that's great. And it's kind of where I stand. Just like, yeah. Like,
and the funny thing is a lot of this whole discourse started with people actively asking this French player, like, hey, if the WNBA came a calling, like, would you play for them? And she was basically like, I mean, sure, but like, I'm 34. I don't think I'm really who they're looking for, but like, yes, theoretically. So it's like people trying to bait someone into an answer to then make a whole hubbub about something that's like almost certainly not even going to be a thing because she's not like wanted on a WNBA team.
That's a thing, and that's what gets all of it in this. We can kind of close with this. Is just like it's always the hypothetical, and so many times it always comes down to like a hypothetical situation that does not exist because trans people just want to live their lives and be themselves and just be able to live comfortably. But it's always the thing of like grifty type people trying to pose a hypothetical, and then the people who are actually like following through on the danger are cis men. Like at the end of the day, we do not actually have to worry about a trans woman coming through and causing harm. What's happening? It's two cis men pretending that they are trans women. So it's like, oh, what's the root of all this issue? If you do actually care about women's safety, your true enemy is cis men. Statistically, that's always the case. And that's what makes J.K. Rowling's thing so stupid, because she's just like, oh, the bathroom assaults. It's like, you know what happens way more, like multiple times, like exponentially more than someone doing any sort of bathroom assault and being a trans person. Just men going into bathrooms and doing things. Like, it's so stupid. And it's funny that anytime there's like this, like, oh, potential situation, it's like, what's the real root of the problem? Cis men. Hypothetical situations that don't exist, and then cis men. It's so stupid. So stupid.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. So the other thing, Kawhi Clipper stuff, basically, there's more Pablo Torre stuff that's coming out. We talked about the whole Daktronics thing, and the new wrinkle is that it seems like the NBA and their lawyers that are looking into it did know about that stuff, and they're like talking about it in closed doors. But there was a report from the ESPN folks who did the other propaganda work pro Ballmer, being like, the NBA doesn't have any information or proof that Ballmer kind of funneled money from the Clippers to Kawhi. Now they're trying to see, and the only thing they can see is if they can get Clippers employees for like failure to properly supervise, as if these people did it without the direct knowledge and just direction of Steve Ballmer, which Pablo Torre's reporting refutes because he has screenshots of emails where people from the Clippers are sending emails to Daktronics being like, hey, did you do the sponsorship thing? So it's like very clearly
just following
directed.
up here.
Following up on Kawhi and Uncle Dennis. Like, it's so direct. And then the NBA released a statement. They were like, hey, this ESPN reporting has multiple inaccuracies. We do not agree with it. We didn't cooperate with them on this reporting. And then
they didn't cooperate.
Them kind of like going back and forth. Oh, nice. And then the only other thing that's like weird from that is the NBA, I think, either in the NBA's thing or in ESPN article, it was revealed that like the NBA and Ballmer are like negotiating on the punishment. And Pablo Torre very correctly pointed out, that's not how punishment works. And that's not how journalism works. Like that's not how investigations work. You don't like find, unless there's like a plea deal, which is not
I was going to say, it's
situation.
kind of how punishments work if you're like in a court of law and they're saying, all right, if you plead guilty, this is what's on the table. But
that's not what's going on. You've broken a rule of the NBA. Right. So you get punished for it. It's not like, well, what will you accept? And this is just the classic, Steve Ballmer is one of the 10 richest people in the world, and rich people get to pay away their problems.
Yeah.
So
I still don't know how this is going to play out. And I also like, again, I feel the worst for Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram, who are in basketball purgatory right now, being like, so
should I just work
do
out?
I get an apartment? Do I
get a house?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that stinks. We'll see what happens. I just really hope the Clippers are punished, because if they're not, then just every team's just going to do this.
Yeah.
And I will champion for it. Like, let's go, James Dolan.
Mm-hmm. Seriously.
Have some fun. Get people in the sphere, baby.
Right.
Roommates podcast in the sphere. Let's go.
Oh my God. It is actually kind of a little funny though that basically what's at stake is whether or not Grady Dick will swap jerseys.
Love it. And then the final thing is the Lakers. I honestly have not been like too plugged into it because a lot of this talk involves billionaires, and I just couldn't be bothered to learn more about them.
The good guys.
So the Lakers have already sold like part of their ownership. It was owned by Dr. Buss and the Buss family, and then he passed and did this trust thing with his children where it's like split between them. But Jeannie Buss was the operating director, so she fired some of the other siblings, but they still have ownership stake. And then they sold a bunch to this guy, Mark Walters, I believe is his name. And then that was 2 years ago. Then he is now flipping his majority shares to a team headlined by Jared Kushner's brother, Josh Kushner, and then Bob Iger, the former Disney guy. And they're buying it for like $12.5 billion. I think Walters bought it for like $8.5 billion.
I think part of the dispute was that like one of the Buss siblings didn't want to sell their.
Jeannie didn't want to, and in order to do it, it had to be unanimous. So first, like the first part of the sale did happen. And then there was like a second part where it's like the Buss family sold the rest of it. Like they had 17.5% left in the trust. And if you have 15% or more, you can still be a controlling person. So it was like Jeannie could still be the governor of the decision making, but the trust had to like unanimously vote to give it all. Jeannie didn't want to, but everybody doesn't like Jeannie because she fired them all for making decision making power. So, but then there was the report of like, they're selling the rest of it. But then it was like reported too quickly because it's like, no, Jeannie doesn't want to. And it's like, well, did Shams misrepresent? Because he was like, no. I said that like there was a majority, not everybody. And like all this, I don't know. There's all this like back and forth, blah, blah, blah. But basically, this guy, Mark Walters, is under like federal indictment for some other shady stuff he did. So he's selling off multiple sports teams. Like he also owns one of the soccer teams, maybe Tottenham, the Spurs. I'm not positive.
The Tottenham Hotspurs?
Maybe it might be a different team. Again, I really don't want to learn more about corrupt billionaires.
Sure.
So it's like this whole thing of like, well, he's selling it. That's kind of sketchy. And then Iger and Kushner moved in. They had been in talks to get the Vegas team, but then the Vegas team was going to be expensive and you have to wait for expansion. So they're like, why don't we just pay a little more and get the Lakers? So they're selling for $12.5 billion. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then there's the whole bus thing. It's still like ongoing and messy. So the best summary is the Lakers are being sold and maybe more sold, and it's messy, and the people who own most of it now are terrible because it's Kushner, so you got Saudi money in there.
How does Express Bus feel about all of this? The forgotten sibling.
I don't know. But yeah, it's just super gross because now you've got like Trump ties in ownership, and you've gotten to the point now because like these ownerships like flip so much that like usually sports owners weren't good people, and now there's so much money that it's just every owner is going to be a bad
Let's
person.
be honest, there are Trump ties all over sports because there's billionaires all over sports. Like we know who James Dolan invited to Game 3. Like it's not a secret. So
yeah, you're just getting fewer and fewer. Teams like the Steinbrenners, like in the Yankees, where it's just like, how did the Steinbrenners get rich? Owning the Yankees for a long time. And the buses were kind of like the basketball version of that. So with them out, it's just like, I can't name any owners where it's like, their whole thing was they bought the team a long time ago and just stuck with it. Right. And now because there's so much, the valuations of the team are so high that you don't get people owning the team to just be like, hey, I own a team and I want us to win because that's cool. Now everyone's buying it. And that's why the second apron thing is here and is like so devastating because now every owner is like, well, yeah, I own the team, but I want to make sure my financial investment is good. It's just becoming a way for people to buy something and then park their money because you can write off so many things as expenses that the taxes are great. So now they're just like investment opportunities. So you get very few owners who are like, I want my team to do well.
Barf.
Yep, super sucks. But yeah, that's full court press. Get it like that news?
I do.
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3 on 3.
All right, so for today's 3 on 3, we're going to harken back to episode 69.
Nice.
Yeah, in which I celebrated Stacey King's 3 best nicknames and catchphrases. Today, more than 5 years later, it's only fitting for me to honor the late, great Stacey King one final time after his untimely and sudden passing in June. For some context, for those of you who might not be familiar with him, Stacey King was a former NBA player and broadcaster whose legacy is inextricably intertwined with my beloved Chicago Bulls. King was a standout at the University of Oklahoma in college and was drafted 6th overall by the Bulls in the first round of the 1989 NBA draft. While his NBA career was ultimately more that of a role player than a star, he was an integral part of the Bulls bench during their first three-peat from 1991 to 1993. And after coaching for a few years in the CBA, which was the precursor to what is now the G League, King got an opportunity to work as a studio analyst for the Bulls in 2004, which ultimately led to him doing color commentary for the Bulls starting in 2006. King immediately became a fan favorite for being his authentic self at all times, and he was more beloved as a broadcaster than he ever had been as a player. The reason that I and so many Bulls fans like me felt his loss so deeply is that you really felt like you knew him. In an industry of phonies and people constantly posturing, he was a true original. So, to honor Stacey, today I bring you my 3 favorite Stacey King calls, and to honor Stacey's infamous Gimme the Hot Sauce slogan / podcast / actual literal hot sauce brand that he really sold. My 3 favorite hot sauces.
Cool. I love it.
So let's start with the hot sauces and then move over into basketball land. I want to start this segment by saying, first and foremost, that Tabasco absolutely sucks.
Not good.
It's very vinegar forward. I have no idea why it has become so ubiquitous.
Stuff. Like my favorite barbecues are the vinegary ones, but Tabasco's
it's like so watery and thin, and it's just not good. I don't understand. No. Like when you have Heinz ketchup, you're like, okay, I get why this is the top ketchup brand because Hunt's sucks. But Tabasco, like it's just a hard pass for me unless it's my
Especially
only
when there's
option.
so many better options. I feel like that has no flavor. It's just like, how do I increase spice? Where it's like Tapatio at least like tastes good.
Right.
Cholula tastes good.
Yes.
What are we doing?
It's true. And you've teased one of my top 3.
Ooh.
Also, honorable mention to Texas Pete, who just missed the cut. But I do like Texas Pete.
Shout out Texas Pete.
All right, at number 3, I'm going with another one of Stacey King's favorite things to say, Sriracha.
I mean, classic.
Yes, this is I would say somewhat controversial because it's a higher viscosity hot sauce. It's a little bit thicker. And while I don't prefer it on eggs, there is nothing better on Asian food of any sort. Basically, like my go-to is if I'm eating something that's a little more bland than I would like, that needs some kick, just like a little squirt of sriracha and mix it in there completely changes the entire dish.
Yeah. And I'm not a mayonnaise guy, but Sriracha Mayo is incredible.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. It's really good
Also
stuff.
fun bottle. I like the rooster.
Yeah. The twist is good. The green top is fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's very good.
At number 2, I'm going with a staple of the sauce game, Frank's Red Hot.
Classic.
Not only is it
Classic.
delicious in wing sauce, aka Frank's Red Hot, combined with a stick of butter, shout out Paula Deen, but it's consistent and balanced. And to me, Frank's Red Hot is it's a perennial lottery pick. Like it's not the consensus number 1, but it's a low floor hot sauce.
Yeah. When it's
You're
on the
never
table, you're like,
disappointed.
okay, good.
Yes.
Like, yeah. It's very, very solid.
At number 1, you mentioned this one before. This one, to me, is not particularly close. The crown goes to Cholula.
Gotta.
Excellent bottle design, fun
Little wooden
packaging.
round top,
I love
yeah.
it. I love it. Yeah. But if you drop it, that thing will roll like a mofo. And I've been there before. So that's a little rough. But just an
Good.
all-around perfect hot sauce. And like,
Yeah.
this is a very subjective ranking, of course, because some people like a lot of spice. But for me, Cholula is that perfect line between too mild and too spicy. Like I
like it.
I want hot sauce to enhance my dining experience, not overpower it.
Correct.
So Cholula, great on eggs, stellar on Mexican food, just a winning addition to any meal. So Cholula all day, every day.
What I would recommend to you is one that my friends put me on. It's Mary Sharp's. It's basically Belize's Tabasco, where it's like on every table of every restaurant.
Mary Sharp's.
Mary Sharp's. And you can get it directly from their website. You can get it on, any sort of online store, any sort of spice store. And I put it on my eggs every single morning, eggs and sweet potatoes every morning. It's really good, and it's right in that Cholula space where it's like flavorful but not super hot. The ingredients are good. Like the ingredient list is just like peppers, onions, carrots. Like it's nothing, salt, lime
Little
juice, like
Mirepoix.
nothing. And just like nothing gross in there. No like sodium Byzorbinate or whatever the heck.
Yeah. Red
it's just-
5.
right. Nothing. It's just like straight up like, oh, cool. It's vegetables. Awesome. It's really good. And my friend bought me a bottle of that because they were like, we're in Belize. This stuff was awesome. And then I've always had a bottle in my house ever since. for
What is
over
your
a
spice
decade.
tolerance? Like if you were on hot ones, how would you do?
I would see, here's the thing. I do better with like natural spices than I do with like the artificial stuff.
So like if
once
you ate an actual ghost pepper, you'd rather do that than have a ghost pepper hot sauce?
like I'm fine. Like jalapenos are nothing to me. Serrano peppers are pretty fine to me. But I've had stuff that's like actually like it's blended up peppers, habanero, ghost pepper, stuff like that. But once you get into the like synthetic Scoville value thing, that stuff does not sit well with me. So I feel like I would be good until Da Bomb, that one that like the 7th one that
Beyond
always screws
Insanity,
people over.
yes, yeah.
I feel like I'd be all right for 1 through 6, and then I would very quickly become a mess.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Celia about this a lot. She's got like a super high spice tolerance. I think she would be one of those people where it's like, are you a robot? Like, how are you not sweating right now? I think I would be
how's yours?
in a lot of trouble.
Does your Indian half power through, or your Wisconsin
apparently
half?
I inherited the German half, which is no spice. I like spice and I like flavor, but once I get to the point where my mouth is watering, it completely takes away from the experience. And usually if I'm getting wings or something, I'll just go medium. Like I don't want mild, but I don't want hot because it's like, I don't feel like I have anything to prove. Like why am I
That's where I'm
trying to go as spicy as I can and then be uncomfortable for the rest of the day, or like have an unpleasant next morning, if you know what I mean.
Sure. When I go into restaurants, whether it's like Thai, Indian, whatever, I ask the servers when there's a scale, I ask, what do you give white people? And say it's 5. They'll be like, we give them 2. I'll be like, I'll take a 3. Like I always just go
That's
one
really
level
funny.
higher than what do you do, white people?
Yes, and I'm sure I've told this story before, but my mom has a very high spice tolerance and my dad has completely lost his. And
That's
so for
so
years
funny.
they would go out to eat, especially at like an Indian place or even a Chinese restaurant. And my dad would say, like, I don't want it spicy. And they would just, by default, give it to him really spicy. And my mom would ask for spice and they wouldn't believe her. And so they would like switch plates half the time.
Amazing.
Pretty great.
All right, give me the Stacey King half.
All right, so let's move on to the basketball stuff. And for this segment, I think it's only right for me to play the clip first and then discuss it after. So here's number 3 on my list.
Heinrich flips it in. Butler.
Oh my goodness! It's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil Funk, Jimmy G, buckets, gets buckets. Oh my goodness! Give me the hot sauce, Neil Funk. Give me the hot sauce.
3 by Butler.
They should call him Jimmy Jordan because he looked like Michael Jordan tonight. Oh my goodness!
85-84. Bulls win. The officials are going to look at it, but I don't think there was any question.
Hey, listen, that was a bucket. Here it is right here. Catch and shoot. Clearly gets it off. Let's go home, Chicago. Drive home safely. Beep, beep. Oh, and he got the little leg kick, too. And he walks off like he knew it was good. Jimmy Jordan, because he played like Michael tonight. Chicago, smash, bang. Let's go home. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
All right, so as you could probably tell, this wasn't even a game that counted. On October 16th, 2014, the Bulls played the Atlanta Hawks in a preseason game at the United Center in Chicago. Down 2 points with 1.5 seconds remaining, the Bulls have the ball. They inbound to Jimmy Butler, who drains a 3 as time expires. The reason this one made the list for me is that it perfectly encapsulates what was so special about Stacey King. This game did not matter, but it mattered to Stacey, and his energy made it feel like it should matter to you too. It didn't matter if the Bulls were the best or worst team in basketball, if it was a playoff game or a preseason game in October. Stacey brought his passion for the game night in and night out. Of the 20 seasons that King commentated the Bulls made the playoffs 8 of the first 9 seasons, and then in the remaining 11, they made it twice. But you would never have known that based on the way Stacey called those games, and that passion is irreplaceable. Moving on to number 2, what we have here is arguably Stacey's most iconic call, and a call that many people think propelled Derrick Rose into the national spotlight. Here it is from Deborah Mamawala's birthday, January 22nd, 2010. And I'm sure you've seen this before, but I'll give you the link anyway.
I'm assuming this is the Goran Dragic one.
It's the Dragic one.
Yeah, I don't even need to watch this clip.
Exactly.
I know exactly what happens.
Fair.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
Lead pass.
Stop it! Stop it! Do not do him like that! What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
He double clutches this. Watch this.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, he actually
Watch
caught
this.
this ball. Watch.
I want to go higher. Oh my goodness. Dragic. Somebody grab Dragic and say, do you know who this kid is? He is from Chicago. He has a 40-inch vertical. And you are, where's my poster machine? This is what I need, my poster machine. Where's it at? Oh my goodness.
So as Bill Hader's Stefan character on SNL would say, this clip has everything. So many of Stacey's catchphrases are packed into this 1 40-second clip. We get him saying, stop it, stop it. Then we get the, did you not get the memo? We get the, I want to go higher. Then, of course, we get the, where's my poster machine? And then naturally calling out D Rose being from Chicago, as he loved to mention in every single game. It's all there. It's all glorious. We'll share the link, but definitely watch this one if you haven't seen it before. They replay this clip all the time, but Rose's dunk is so nasty that you can see a Suns player. I don't know who it is, but you can see him like start to stand up in the background before he realizes that he's cheering for the wrong team and then quickly sits back down. The Bulls bench cannot contain themselves. Goran Dragic would become synonymous with this play from a random regular season game, despite having a really stellar NBA career. Like when he played on the Bulls, he would say like, this is the number one thing that Bulls fans want to talk to me about is the fact that I got dunked on 14 years ago.
Derrick Rose like hits his head on the bottom of the backboard while he does it.
Yeah, it's like maybe the best example of how explosive Rose was at that time in his career. And Stacey cannot control himself when it happens. Now, at this time, Stacey was the color commentator alongside broadcasting legend Neil Funk, who is a somewhat nerdy, older white guy who would have been in his mid-60s at the time of this game. Their dynamic could be best described, and this is an old reference, but like, if you've ever seen the Wayans brothers, like the way Marlon Wayans would always greet an older white character where he like daps them up and like rubs their hair and does like the whole production. That was very much what it felt like with Stacey and Neil, kind of this like odd couple dynamic that always cracked me up, because Neil was the consummate pro and Stacey, while to his credit was incredibly knowledgeable about the sport, loved to push the limits and just have as much fun as possible. So the juxtaposition of those two guys together, and the fact that Neil not only accepted but embraced and encouraged Stacey to be himself, made it all the more special until Neil Funk retired in 2020. But finally, at number 1, we have the clip that, to me, best captures the brilliance of Stacey King and the incredible chemistry that he had with Neil Funk's successor and friend of the pod, the phenomenal Adam Amin. I'm assuming you already know where I'm going with this one. This, is, of course, is the...
Elizabeth!
Exactly. So we'll insert the clip here.
Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Giddy for the win! Go!
My God! I cannot believe this! Elizabeth! I'm coming, baby! Oh, Lord!
Improbable!
Unbelievable!
Impossible!
Magic Giddy! Good day, mate! Somewhere in Australia, Sydney, or Melbourne, Paul Hogan is somewhere there, Crocodile Dundee. Oh, Lord!
You may never see a wilder sequence than you just saw in the final 10 seconds. And Josh Giddey from down under beats the Lakers at the horn.
This is unbelievable. Bulls Nation, embrace this team. I'm telling you, the hype is real. This is not the same team. You better embrace them. Get your tickets. Buy them. This is a special team. Oh, Lord. Elizabeth, watch Giddy. Half court. That's a shot for the ages. That will be replayed when we're all gone. What a shot to win a game from half court. Wow.
March 27th of last year, the Bulls stun the Lakers on a half-court heave from Josh Giddey as time expires. Stacey absolutely loses his marbles, pulls out the "Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby" line, which, to clarify, because a lot of people were confused by this, is not a sex joke or reference.
Yeah.
That is a reference to an old TV show called Sanford and Son, in which the main character, Fred Sanford, would frequently look up to the sky, clutch his chest like he was faking a heart attack, and say to his deceased wife, "Elizabeth, this is the big one. I'm coming to join you, honey." The bouncing back and forth between Amin and King here is so seamless and organic in this clip, and it's a chemistry that cannot be taught. It's not, unfortunately, going to be able to be replicated. And honestly, it was hard listening back to this clip, because the final thing that Stacey says is, "This will be replayed when we're all gone." And who could have ever known that just 16 months later he would be? I am so grateful for that moment and that game, and the fact that even in a pathetic losing year, I was watching live when this happened. My only regret is that, as you recall, I had like a resolution last year where, after the Bulls completely traded away their team at the trade deadline, I was like, I'm going to try to watch this team as little as possible. I never would have imagined that those would be the last chances I got to hear Stacey call Chicago Bulls basketball. But while I'm incredibly sad that he won't be around to enjoy what I hope will be the eventual turnaround of this once great franchise, I could not be more thankful for the 20 years of joy that he brought us as Bulls fans and NBA fans in general. And that's my 3-on-3. Stacey King forever.
I love it. I love you paying homage to someone who is gone too soon. My That Actually Happened does in a different way. You may be listening to this episode thinking there's a glaring omission from Full Court Press. And it was because I was playing this for That Actually Happened. Russell Westbrook retired after having an illustrious 18-year career. And my That Actually Happened is just Russell Westbrook existed. That actually happened. And I've just got a career recap for him, because I love Russ. He's one of my favorite players. And I have this incredible Russ poster that has been on display ever since I got it, which is like him with tigers screaming behind him, which perfectly just encapsulates who he was as a player. I love Russ, and I'm sad to see him gone, so I want to pay homage to Russ.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching some Westbrook highlights since he retired, and it's easy to forget just how good he was, just how explosive he was. And there's so much of this lamenting of like, oh my gosh, like Derrick Rose, what could have been? It's like, we kind of saw what could have been, and it was Russell Westbrook. Yeah. Like the explosiveness that this guy had at 6'4", like peak Westbrook is about as good as it gets. And I mean, to me, I don't think there's much debate about this. Like, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer easily.
Absolutely. Just like absolutely incredible. So let's get into it. So overarching, if you look at the little Wikipedia thing where they put all the stats, I do the classic thing where you have to like scroll for everything.
Yeah.
Pac-10 All Defensive Team 2008, Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year 2008, third team All Pac-10 2008, NBA 75, NBA All Rookie Team, 3-time assist leader, 2-time scoring champ, 2-time NBA third team, 5-time NBA second team, 2-time NBA first team, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, 9-time All-Star, 1-time MVP.
And also did something that was considered impossible at the time, which was like no one will ever average a triple-double again.
He did it 4 times.
Yeah.
4 times.
Unbelievable.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd. So to take it all the way back, he was born in Long Beach in California, and he dreamt of going to UCLA with his best friend. And unfortunately, I didn't know about this, but his best friend passed away tragically early at the age of 16 during a pickup basketball game due to an enlarged heart.
Oh my God.
Just absolutely terrible stuff. And his name was Kelsey Bars, and he was Russ's best friend, and many people said the best player on his high school team. Wow. He had, illustrious teams. So everyone's like, this guy was a real hooper, and people believe, there's this great article that I'll link to called, quote, "I believe that Kelsey's energy is inside Russell, the legacy of Kelsey Bars." And people are just saying, like, when Kelsey passed, it really affect Russ. And
of course,
he just became even more determined, and I believe it.
Yeah, almost that like I'm living for two people now sort of thing. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah, so he entered high school not necessarily as this highly touted prospect. He was only 5'8", which is still tall, but then he grew to be 6'3" by the end of his 4 years there, and that's when he started to get letters. UCLA reached out, and Westbrook turned down other offers as he waited to make sure that Jordan Farmar, who was on the team and was the starting point guard, left, and he did leave for the NBA draft. So once he left, a scholarship opportunity and playing time opened up for Russ. He was only a 3-star or a 4-star recruit, and he wasn't, again, highly touted, but made his way to UCLA. Started as a backup, and he was Darren Collison's backup. He was mainly just like a defensive substitution, high energy guy. But then the next year, Collison got injured, and that allowed Russ to start. And that's when he got those Pac-10 accolades. Made the Final Four in both of his years, and then he declared for the draft after sophomore year. He did finish out his semester, still went to classes and everything, which is a rarity, and I thought that was very cool that he did that. And then he went 4th in the draft, which was a surprise. At the time, people thought that was a reach. He was not really the starting point guard, only got some starting minutes because of injury, and people thought that was way too high for the Sonics to take him, but he was taken 4th by the Sonics, who became the Thunder 6 days later, which is wild. So he never played for the Sonics, but in all the draft photos, he was drafted to the Sonics.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously they had top picks because they were bad at the time, but like, man, drafting Durant and then Russ
and Harden.
Yeah.
And Ibaka, like they did well. And there wasn't like they were all number one.
And they've continued to do well. That franchise has continued to hit on guys.
Yeah, they do well. They do really well. So Russ, when he joined the Thunder, had to wear number 0. Number 4 was his high school number. He couldn't wear it in college because someone had it. He couldn't wear it in the pros because someone had it. And I feel like he was one of the first like really high profile 0 guys that have gone on. You've got like him, you've got Dame, now Halliburton. Like you get a lot of people doing it.
Tatum.
Tatum. But he was kind of like, it was early. And I think 0 is such a perfect Russ for him. And he like fully embraced it in his why not branding. His shoe was the why not 0 point whatever. And I have a pair of, I think, 0.2s, but it was always cool because it was spelled ZERO, decimal point, and then number. So like 0.2, always really fun. But yeah, just like perfect guy. He gets a triple-double his rookie year, making him the first rookie since Chris Paul to do so. By the second year in the league, he's the starting point guard for the Thunder. And that season, they double their wins, and that was the classic, are the Thunder going to be a good team here? Because that was where they lost to the Lakers, the Kobe Lakers, in the first round, but they like made it a series, a 6-game series, and it was close. Russ put up 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals a game. Just like, these Thunder might be something. I remember watching that series actively and being like, this is really cool. These guys are really fun. This crowd is really hype. And it was really, really fun. So he becomes an all-star. He makes the All-NBA second team. Then he helps lead the Thunder to the 2012 NBA Finals. They lose in 5, but he has 2 iconic games, one in a win, one in a loss. And then you've got the 2013 season, which is where Patrick Beverley ends it early because of going for a ball on a we're about to call a timeout kind of thing, just like a dirty,
I can still picture Russ
play.
like slamming his hand on the scorer's table, like, God damn it.
In frustration, yeah. So that sucked. He has a couple of surgeries in the offseason. They lose to the Spurs in the playoffs. Then the next year they missed the playoffs because he was dealing with injuries, as was KD. It was like also a very competitive Western Conference where they were like 8 games above 500, but still didn't make the playoffs. They were the 9th seed. And then the year after that is the Clay series where they're up 3-1. Then you get the Clay game in game 6. They lose. KD leaves in the offseason. He makes the infamous cupcake post where 4th of July is when KD makes his My Next Chapter announcement. Russell Westbrook posts a picture of cupcakes with the caption, Happy 4th, y'all, because Kendrick Perkins used to call people who were being too soft cupcakes. And KD and Russ really rolled with that and called a lot of people cupcakes. So for Russ to do that was very much a dig at Kevin Durant. Then he's got the MVP season where he's the first person since Oscar Robertson, shout out to the Royals, to average a triple-double, which was absolutely absurd. It was one of those things where I remember at the time, I don't think he should have won MVP. I would have given it to James Harden because Harden didn't have a triple-double, but like the Rockets were better and the advanced analytics were better. But just the sheer feat of the triple-double wowed a lot of people. And then really what happened, do you remember that final game of the season against the Nuggets?
Where he hit a game winner to,
It was like the last game of the I think it was like the last
40-footer.
game.
Yeah.
I think it was like the last game of the season. There were like no other games on. There was maybe like 2 games that day. So it was just like everybody was watching it. And it was his 42nd triple-double of the season, meaning in more than half of the games for the year, he had a triple-double, which broke Robertson's record of triple-doubles in a season. They won on the road in Denver, famously hard to win on the road because of the altitude. The Thunder were down 14 points. Westbrook had 50 points, scored 18 of them in the last 5 minutes, including a 36-footer game-winning 3.
Yeah.
Buzzer beater to win the game. And that happened and everyone was like, okay, this guy's the MVP. And it was one of those things where like overall, I thought it should have been Harden, but I will never fault anyone for voting for us because like, yeah, dude.
No.
Like that's MVP.
And that shot is perennially on every list of like best crowd go silent moments.
Mm-hmm. It's like I can see it so clearly. Like that was like the orange Thunder jerseys. Like it was just, it was so deep and just so Russ, just like the most Russ thing. Like we are not losing this game. I'm Russell Westbrook. So they lose to the Rockets in the playoffs. Then he has another triple-double season. They lose to the Jazz in the playoffs. He has a third triple-double season. They lose to the Blazers in the playoffs. This is the Dame quote-unquote bad shot over Paul George where he waves them goodbye. That's the quote-unquote bad shot. Then in the 2019-2020 season, he gets traded to the Rockets for Chris Paul. They do that whole build around Russ in the second half thing where they kind of like reshape the team and it like kind of works, but then they lose to the Lakers in the playoffs. He's traded to the Wizards. He has a triple-double season. He has a 30, 10, and 20 game. They lose to the Sixers in the first round. Then he gets traded to the Lakers in this very infamous trade where the Lakers won the championship in 2020, came up short in 2021. LeBron wants Russ and they trade away their spacing for Russ, which was just like an all-time bad basketball fit decision. And he gets all this flack for ruining the team, even though he didn't force his way there. And he kind of just had like a regular Russ season that you could expect. Like his numbers aren't drastically different. Like his assists and rebounds are down, but that was kind of like a playing time thing more than anything. And his usage rate was lower. Like his usage rate plus assist rate when he was the guy after KD left in OKC was like 99%, where it's like either Russ scored it or passed it on the play. And then it's just different on the Lakers. But like his shooting percentage was like, it was like, oh, he shot 30% from 3. It's like Russ always shot 30% from 3. Like
he got a really raw deal with the Lakers. I feel badly for how people treated him there.
Right. Completely not his fault. That's a LeBron issue. That's a fit issue, not a Russ issue. So then the next year in the Lakers, he's a 6-man coming off the bench, still not enough. They trade him to the Jazz, who buy him out. He signs with the Clippers. They lose to the Suns in the first round. He's on the Clippers bench next year, and it's like fine, but they don't re-sign him. Then he joins the Nuggets, and it goes way better. But you have your classics, where you have your like amazing Russ game, where he like destroyed the Clippers and like yelled at the crowd. It's the one where he got that technical foul for hanging on the rim for way too long and yelling at the crowd. And then there's like the end of the season collapse against the Timberwolves, where he like misses a very easy layup and then fouls Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and then like they make the free throw. It's just like a classic like Russ goof game towards the end of the year. Then he has the Sacramento year, which was like, why'd we bring him in? Then there were injuries. He played more. It was just kind of like Russ, but on a very bad team. And then that was it. That was it for the playing career.
I kind of wish he had gotten a better send-off, but To me, he's on like a short list of some of the best players to have never won a championship. Like,
Yes.
he's up there with the Charles Barkleys and Karl Malones while he is an asshole, like just in terms of quality of player that they were to never get it done. So
Yeah. It would have been fun, especially because OKC loves him so much and they always will. And they'll retire his jersey immediately and give him a statue immediately.
yeah,
It would have been fun if he could have come back to the Thunder, but like
sometimes it's best not to ruin it.
I think it's more they just have too much championship aspiration, and he would have had to be a bench guy. And he had offers this season, like the Wizards were going to have him as a bench guy, but he was like, I don't want to be third string on the very bad Wizards. So he just decided.
I don't know. The Wizards could have been interesting. That could have been like,
but it's not what he would have
him. Yeah, add him to this weird mix of like veteran guys, but then also the top draft pick.
Yeah, so it's just like I think he would have been fine to have a role kind of like Sacramento, where it's like let me play more, but it's just like I'm not going to be bench guy. And that was kind of like the negative of Russ. It was like he never accepted who he was becoming. But that was also the beauty of Russ, that he was always just Russ. Like he was always him. Now, the playing career, it goes beyond that. So outside of the NBA, he was a 2010 FIBA champion and a 2012 gold medalist. But you think of Russell Westbrook, you think of the fashion. I remember it started with the backpacks and the red glasses and no lenses in them. And then it just evolved into
very like Spike Lee sort of look, like early 90s.
Do the right
vibes.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it develops into him making wackier fashion choices, but he always looked good. You know, you have your other people like Kyle Kuzma's who look silly, but like Russ always looked good. It helps when you are as jacked as Russell Westbrook. You can kind of wear anything. Yeah. But it always made it work. You always believed him. He had the swagger to rock every silly outfit that he did. And then he ends up starting his own clothing line. Like he's got the Why Not line with Jordan Brand. He's got the Honor the Gift line that he does later. He's got the custom shoes that are always so fun. Beyond that, you've got the way he dealt with reporters, which sometimes was too much, but other times was very funny. Like when the person did the classic, did you guys lose the game or did the Jazz win this game? And he's got the green hoodie and he goes, what? What are you talking about, bro? Just some really, really good interactions with reporters. And then there's just like all of these classic Russ moments that I'll never forget. There's that one in the playoffs where he is driving and they try to do the thing where they grapple his arms just to stop him before clear path fouls are really a thing. And he made the shot anyway, and then like stomps real big and screams with the crowd. There's the sham god he did over Tyler Ulis where it does this like cool crossover move and then this pass where he puts his hands behind his head afterwards in midair. There's all the dances he would do with Campaign. There was the game where he got a dent in his face and then he only missed one game and then came back to drop 49, 15, and 10 with 3 steals in a win in the playoffs. Like there's so much Russ stuff. There's just so much. And then it's like even the off court. He has the videos of him singing Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten as a selfie video while he's driving a car. Like he's just perfect. You've got the memes, like the, that's very interesting meme in response to him learning that he's the only person to not miss a single shot for someone who shot. He went like 8 for 8 from the field and then didn't miss any free throws. Only person to do that. And then the gif of him like sneaking food on the bench where he was in street clothes. Like, just like purely iconic.
I'll miss him a lot.
So much. I want to give a shout out. We'll put a link to it. Tyler Parker, who is a writer that I really like. He's a really nice guy. He writes for The Ringer and he's a Thunder fan. And he has this incredible Russ article up that I believe is called Russell Westbrook Never Chilled Out. Thank God. And it's just like, hey, Russ is amazing. And I want to do 2 quotes from it. One that talks about like statistically and then also just like the Russ feeling. So for the statistical part, Tyler writes, he leaves the game 14th on the all-time scoring list and 5th on the all-time assists list. He is one of exactly 2 players in the history of the league, LeBron is the other, to score more than 25,000 points and have more than 10,000 assists. Westbrook's also one of exactly 3 players in the history of the league, next to LeBron and Oscar Robertson, to eclipse 25,000 points, 7,000 rebounds, and 7,000 assists. He retires as one of the defining players of his generation and one of the greatest to ever pick up a basketball. And then you get into like the vibes of Russ. This article is great because it just has a hyperlink to every cool Russ situation on and off the court that's ever existed. So if you just want to like learn about all this stuff, read this article and click all the links. It's well worth your time. But then towards the end of this article, Tyler writes, Westbrook never ever developed a consistent jump shot. He also made colors brighter. You don't like his shot selection? Interesting. He makes me feel like I'm riding a comet. Some people value players with quality shot diets. I value players who make me feel like I might touch God. You thought he played too emotionally, that he let things get under his skin too much? I watch him play and get the sensation that I've just snorted lava, that I'm wakeboarding living on Miller's planet with one hand on the rope and the other hand on a margarita, and overhead the stars are melting. He's going to be loose with the ball. I think somehow I'll get over it. I have a great appreciation for sensibleness in my daily life, but I want my basketball players allergic to the stuff. I want them to believe in impossibilities. I want them to believe they can do anything. I want them to ask, why not? And I can't think of a better encapsulation of Russell Westbrook, who was imperfect, but that's why he was perfect. To quote one of the greatest books out there, Pride and Prejudice, he was perfect in his imperfections. I love Russell Westbrook. Long live Russ.
I love it.
And if anyone says they're a Russ hater, it's like, oh, so you just hate fun.
Seriously, you hate fun and energy and somebody who really cares.
Yeah, perfect. Shout out to Russ. Love you. Thanks for listening to this episode of Four Sources, hosted by Mamawala and Mike Schubert. Our editor for this episode was Mike Schubert. The music is by Deen the Campamanes. The art is by Alison Wakeman. The website is by Aurelia Lieb, and the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer-level patrons, Polly Bird, Self Dartesta, Siobhan Ellsbury, Adam's dad, coaches my wife, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry getting hyped for the Valkyries.
Banghalla.
Nice. Chase Underula, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, balls to the walls, Mats Furley, Utah Jash, Derry Bird, alternate reality NBA wife, and Bucking Valkyries. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because
Horse Hoops didn't like Russ or Stacey King. They love Tabasco.
Get
Just like we got all three faults. Get out of here.
Banned.
You
can go to our website, horsehoops.com, for links to all of those Stacey King videos, also Stacey King's hot sauce, and perhaps some fun Russ content as well.
Mm-hmm. If you want to support the Horse Boys, go to patreon.com/horsehoops. You can get videos, audio, ad-free episodes, all sorts of fun stuff. You can go to horsehoops.com/merch to get cool digital Sup Nerds basketball merch items. But we're going to close this episode out by saying something on the count of three. What do we got? We got Stacey, we got Russ, we got our looming softball playoffs, got the championship game.
Yeah, well, I don't know that he ever actually said this, but I think maybe give me the hot sauce Russ.
Great.
Combine them both.
Love that. We'll do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Give me the hot
Give me the
sauce,
hot sauce, Russ. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Don't do him like that.